Hi, and welcome to my floor. I decided to record right here because I have a big, giant box that my coworker gave me. So it turns out that if you just read at work, people will come up to you and say, "Here is all of the books that my dead relative owned. Do you want them?" And sometimes you'll say yes. And that is what I did. Thank you, Vern. So, I'm going to go through all of these books. I've not opened this box yet, so it's going to be a little fun surprise for both you and me. And let's just dive right in, honestly. There's really nothing much to say, other than I'm going to look at them, see if I want to keep them, see if I want to get rid of them. And I have no idea the kind of person that this other dead relative, oh my god, I'm sorry. Maximum ride! Maximum ride! Oh my god. The Angel Experiment, that's Maximum Ride 1, right? Yes! This is going on the maybe. Okay. Sorry, my cat is in the room. Oh, he wants to join. Everybody say hi to my cat Tulio. He just got a bath, so he's in his little towel. And he wants to be a part of all of this. Okay. Next book. What was I saying? I was saying something. Oh, I have no idea the book tastes of this person that these books used to belong to, so I have no idea what's going to be in here. Based on what I'm seeing, it's probably going to be slightly in line with mine, but probably a little off. I think it's an adult woman. I do know that. An older woman. So, let's see. The next one. Danielle Steele, High Stakes. What is that? High Stakes. Oh, here, it's in the back. Jane Addison is an ambitious young woman with big dreams of owning her own company someday. At 28, she arrives in New York to start a job at Fletcher & Benson, a prestigious talent agency. Eager to impress her new colleagues, Jane jumps right in as an assistant to Haley West, one of the agents in the literary department. This is so long, hold on. Jane quickly realizes that there are damaging secrets hidden behind the doors of Fletcher & Benson, including Me Too issues that have long gone unaddressed. As one of the youngest employees, she has the least power, but is also the least willing to accept things as they have been for years. When she puts everything on the line to right these wrongs, the consequences will leave no one unscathed. I'm gonna put that in the no pile. Alright, Catherine Anderson's Annie's Song. Alright, what is this about? Annie Trimble lives in a solitary world that no one enters or understands. As delicate and beautiful as the tender blossoms of the Oregon spring, she is shunned by a town that misinterprets her affliction. But cruelty cannot destroy the love Annie holds in her heart. Alex Montgomery is horrified to learn his wild younger brother forced himself on a helpless idiot girl. That idiot girl is in quotes. Tormented by guilt, Alex agrees to marry her and raise the babe she carries as his own. I don't like the use of the word babe. But he never dreams he will grow to cherish his lovely, mute, misjudged Annie. Her childlike innocence, her womanly charms, and the wondrous way she views her world. And he becomes determined to break through the wall of silence surrounding her. To heal, ... and to be healed by Annie's sweet song of love. I'm gonna put that in the no. Barbara Delinsky, Suddenly. Can you see that? What is this about? A compelling novel of loss, love, and choice. In the idyllic small town of Tucker, Vermont, life flows at a rhythmic pace for a pediatrician, Paige Pfeiffer. When Mara O'Neill, her best friend and medical partner, inexplicably kills herself, Paige's comfortable world is suddenly shattered. Temporarily caring for Mara's newly adopted baby daughter while she comes to grips with her grief, Paige clings to the hope that, in time, her orderly life will return. When she hasn't counted on were the unexpected pleasures that often come with change, including the touch of a man who offers Paige things she never thought she wanted. She hadn't counted on finding the meaning of life in the death of a friend. It doesn't say who this man is, but I have a feeling it is the father of the child. I'm gonna give this one a pass. Ooh, Debbie Macomber. The best is yet to come. I don't think I'm going to take this one. The new beginning in charming Oceanside, Washington is exactly what Hope Goodwin needs after the death of her twin brother. There are plenty of distractions, like her cozy cottage with the slightly noisy landlords next door, and a brewing drama among her students at the local high school. Though she has settled quickly into the community, these summaries are so long, but Hope's happiness is put to the test when Cade, the love interest, I assume, past conflicts resurface and Hope becomes embroiled in the escalating situation at the high school. Love and compassion are supposed to heal all wounds, but there are certain times that can overcome the pain of their past and obstacles. I'm gonna pass. Oh, these are big ones. This is a hardcover. Barbara Taylor Bradford. Just Rewards. Four women at a crossroads, a family in crisis, and an enemy planning for his long-awaited chance at revenge. Who will have their just rewards? Lynette O'Neill, great-granddaughter of Emma Hart, finds herself following in the footsteps of the original woman of substance as she battles to modernize the family business. Returning from her honeymoon full of fresh ideas for bringing the Hart empire into a new century, Lynette locks horns with her mother, Paula, in a battle about the future. But due to unexpected circumstances, Lynette finds herself alone at the helm. Just as her great-grandmother once was, Tessa Fairley is ready to start a new life after an acrimonious divorce, which might include, rivaling her sister Lynette for the top spot in the Hart business. I'm gonna skip this one. Another big boy is Susan Wiggs, Snowfall at Willow Lake. As an international lawyer, Sophie Bellamy has found great fulfillment in helping oppressed people in war-torn nations. But when she barely survives a violent hostage situation, she yearns, all at once, for a return to the place she used to call home. Avalon, the little town on the shores of Willow Lake, had always served as an idyllic haven for Sophie, until a rift with her family made it off-limits. Now she's determined to repair those strained bonds, and perhaps forge a new one, too, for her attraction to her handsome Noah Shepherd, the local veterinarian, is as real as it is unexpected. I'm gonna pass. Ooh, this one's really beat up. Okay. Danielle Steele. Once in a Lifetime. Looks like this. She is serving face, though. Look at her. Damn, girl. Alright. Oh! Sorry, Bear. Doesn't say what this one's about. I'm gonna pass. Alright. Lisa Scottolini. Mistaken Identity. Looks like a thriller. I don't really care for thrillers, like, as a genre. Benny Rosato thought she had seen it all until she meets her new client, Alice Connolly, who looks exactly like Benny and tells her, "Hello, I'm your twin." A shocked Benny can't deny the uncanny resemblance, but she grew up an only child and assumed she didn't have a sister, much less an identical twin. But Alice seems to know too much for it to be a scam, and Benny can't walk away. She agrees to defend Alice on a murder charge and plunges into the mystery of the crime, unraveling a twisted skein of lies, greed, and danger that jeopardizes her livelihood and ultimately even her life. At the same time, she uncovers the truth of her own identity, a secret that will leave her questioning everything she ever knew about her family. and herself. I'm gonna pass on that one. Ooh, this one has a horse on it. Riding... Oh, there's a sticker. Hold on. Riding Lessons by Sarah Gruen. Gruen? Looks like this. I hope it's a cowboy romance. A stunning new voice and a blah blah blah. As a world-class equestrienne and Olympic contender, Anna Marie Zimmer lived for the thrill of flight atop a strong, graceful animal. Then, at 18, a tragic accident destroyed her riding career and Harry, her beloved and distinctively marked horse. Now, 20 years later, Anna Marie is coming home to her dying father's New Hampshire horse farm. Jobless and abandoned, she is bringing her troubled teenage daughter to this place of pain and memory, where ghosts of an unresolved youth still haunt the fields and stables, and where hope lives in the eyes of the handsome, gentle veterinarian Anna Marie loved as a girl, and in the seductive lure of a trainer with a magic touch. Oh, I think this is going to be a love triangle. Romance and horses go hand in hand. So, you know, that is true. It starts with the definition of horsepower. I don't know if you can read that. That's really funny. Number 2, informal. The extraordinary capacity of a horse to elevate the human spirit. I think I'm going to pass on this one. Okay. Adrienne Basso, To Protect an Heiress. I think this is going to be a period romance. Can you see that? When I hold it up, I block my own view of it, so. As a killer stalks the streets of Regency, England, a beautiful heiress turns to the only man who can protect her, ... I don't know who that man is. Let's find out. Blessed with beauty, fortune, and noble birth, Lady Meredith Barrington puzzles the Ton by choosing to remain single. Then a roguish bet placed by her younger brothers leads Meredith to impulsively flirt with, and boldly kiss, the handsome, brooding Marquess of Dartington. A threatened scandal results in a hasty wedding. Theirs is a marriage of convenience, and Meredith is determined to maintain her unusual, independent ways. Then an apparent accident nearly takes her life, and Meredith, shaken, finds herself turning again and again to her husband for comfort, reassurance, ... and more. Trevor Morley, Marquess of Dartington, is less than pleased when he's forced to wed and vows to avoid his lovely wife, no matter how tempting that soul-stirring kiss in the garden. But when the Ton is rocked by a string of savage murders, Trevor comes to realize the killer has targeted Meredith. He ensures he's always at her side, day and night. Their intimacy ignites a fiery passion between them, and both are stunned to discover that what began in rueful obedience to society's dictates has become a love match. But can Trevor protect the woman he cherishes from a deadly harm? I'm thinking about this. I'm gonna put this in the maybe. You know what? I'm gonna put this in the maybe. I have not found a marriage of convenience story that I really liked. I find that they always go in a direction that I don't want them to. Like, I want a specific kind of story, and I haven't found it. So I'm hoping that this is going to be that, where it's like, they get married, and the guy isn't a total douchebag, completely terrible to her. And, although, when was this written? Douchebag in the way where it's like, this is irredeemable in my eyes. 2002. So there's hope that he's not going to be a misogynistic pig. Alright, next one. Ooh, I'm seeing a lot of Nora Roberts. Nora Roberts, Genuine Lies. Eve Benedict is the kind of subject who can make any biographer's career. Last of the movie goddesses, she has 2 Oscars, 4 ex-husbands, and a legion of lovers. Both famous and infamous. Now she is ready to write a tell-all memoir that has Hollywood's richest and most powerful worry. Julia Summers never dreamed of being chosen to tell Eve's story. But even if it means transplanting herself and her 10-year-old son from their quiet life in Connecticut to the withering limelight of Beverly Hills, it's an opportunity too great to pass up. But Juliet never imagined how far someone would go to keep Eve Benedict's book from being published, till she discovers just how dark Eve's secrets are. Julia's life ends before she can write a good word of the truth. I'm gonna pass. I'm gonna grab this green one. Ooh, another Danielle Steele. Serving face once more. Okay. A Perfect Stranger. This is a very pleasant shade of green. These don't have... Miss Danielle, please put summaries on your books. I guess in the year 1981, so many people were reading Danielle Steele that she just doesn't even need to. I'm gonna pass. I have so many books on my TBR and books that I own physically as well, that, I'm gonna finish my sentence. That I don't need to add to my library. And if there's not even a summary, I'm not gonna go through the effort of looking one up. So, next book, which has a very nice cover. Garden Spells by Sarah Addison Allen. Look at her. Isn't that so cute? Alright. There's a sticker on it. Okay, let me see if I can... something surrounded by a tall fence, something, and a small house in the something, an apple tree rumored to bear a very special sort of fruit. In this luminous debut novel, Sarah Addison Allen tells the story of that enchanted tree and the extraordinary people who tend it. Are you okay? Ugh. He's falling asleep and then scaring himself. The Waverleys have always been a curious family, endowed with peculiar gifts that make them outsiders even in their hometown of Bascom, North Carolina. A successful caterer, Claire prepares dishes made with her mystical plants from the nasturtiums that aid in keeping secrets to the snapdragons intended to discourage the attentions of her amorous neighbor. Meanwhile, her cousin, Evanel, distributes unexpected presents, whose uses become uncannily clear. They are the last of the Waverleys, except for Claire's sister, Sydney, who fled Bascom the moment she could, abandoning Claire as their own mother had, years before. When Sydney suddenly returns home with a young daughter of her own, Claire's quiet life is turned upside down. Together again in the house they grew up in, the sisters soon realize they must deal with their common legacy if they are ever to feel at home in Bascom, ... or with each other. This summary is giving me practical magic. Like, this is just practical magic to the left. Hopefully that means I'll like it. I'm putting that in the maybe pile. Alright. Janet Daly, Heart's Hollow Farm. From the moment Kristen Daniels arrives at Heart's Hollow, the place speaks to her soul. So when 73-year-old Emmy Hart asks Kristen to help return the farm to its former glory, Kristen accepts, despite her fears about getting involved with Emmy, or the 2 kids in Emmy's care. Then there's the matter of Emmy's ruggedly handsome grandson, who stirs feelings Kristen believed were long gone. When Mitch Hart left home at age 18, he thought he'd kicked the red dust off his boots forever, but he's haunted by his violent upbringing and the loss of the sister he couldn't save. Now he's determined to see his orphaned niece and nephew settled in a better life. Emmy's ideas about saving the farm only convince Mitch that his grandmother is as crazy as everyone in town suspects. Everyone except the beauty helping her sow the land. Something about Kristen's spirit has Mitch sticking around, and wondering if he's gone a little crazy himself, because suddenly he's hoping that he might just find happiness in the very place he left behind. I'm gonna pass. Alright. Nora Roberts. The Liar. I don't love, like, thrillers. It's not a genre, I've said this already, it's not a genre that I gravitate towards. I've read, like, one or two, from authors that intrigue me, and that have other work that I want to read, like TJ Klune, that I really liked, but I have not heard great things about Nora Roberts, so, I mean, I'll give her a try if there's, like, a summary that, you know, is interesting. Shelby Foxworth lost her husband. Then she lost her illusions. The man who took her from Tennessee to the most exclusive suburb of Philadelphia, fathered her child, and bathed her in luxury, was not what he seemed, as Shelby is shocked to learn after Richard Foxworth drowns in the Atlantic Ocean. He's left her in crippling debt. He had a vasectomy without telling her. He was an adulterer and liar, as fake as the diamond he put on her finger, and when she tracks down his safe deposit box, she finds cash, a gun, and multiple IDs with Richard's picture and other men's names. The man she loved isn't just dead, he never really existed. Selling off what she can and fending off questions from a private investigator, shows up at her door. Shelby takes her 3-year-old daughter and heads down south to a farm in her hometown and Grammy's motorcycle. She also finds promises something more comfort in Griffin Lot, a successful contractor with a cute Yankee accent. She may have been too young and too trusting when she married Richard, but Shelby is discovering her independence and taking practical steps to build a new life. Her old life isn't over, though. Her husband's secret. Okay, no, I don't feel like reading this one. Nope, thank you. Next one. Sally Mandel, Change of Heart, the love story of a lifetime. Can you see that? This isn't my camera, this is just how the book looks, the cover. It's very, faded and blurry. Alright. Just when you thought you would never cry again, comes a story so timid, blah blah blah. Charlie Converse is 26, courageous, beautiful, and looks as though life may pass her by before it has ever begun. Born with a heart defect that has defeated a battalion of specialists, Charlie has lived her short years from moment to moment in all too familiar hospital rooms in the elegant confines of her parents' East Side townhouse and, in between, in sudden pain-drenched darknesses. A careful life. A life stamped fragile, do not touch, in which everything that matters most to Charlie, color and excitement, adventure and romance, is forbidden except in the vivid imaginings and secret longings she has long ago accepted will never be made real, until, on a crosstown bus crowded with Christmas shoppers, she falls into Brian Morgan's arms and falls in love. I'm not even going to read the rest of it. No thank you. Eating for life. One simple diet for total health. No thank you. Next one. Oh, Debbie Macumber. This is another one that I see all the time and that I have never actually wanted to read. Back on Blossom Street. Has yarn on it. Maybe it's about knitting. There's a shop on Seattle's Blossom Street, a flower store called Susanna's Garden, right next door to A Good Yarn. Susanna Nelson, the owner, has just hired an assistant named Colette Blake, a young widow who's obviously hiding her secret. Or two! Sorry, it has an exclamation mark. When Susanna and Colette both join Lydia Getz's new knitting class, they discover that Lydia and her sister Margaret have worries of their own. Margaret's daughter Julia is the victim of a random carjacking, and the entire family is thrown into emotional chaos. Then there's Alex Townsend, whose wedding is only months away. She's not sure she can go through with it, though. A reception at the country club with hundreds of guests she's never met. It's not just Alex. But, like everyone in Lydia's knitting class, she knows there's a solution to every problem, and another woman can usually help you find it. No, I'm gonna pass. Ooh. Peg Sutherland, Abracadabra. Look at how happy they look. A new family? Question mark. Catherine Barnett had an exciting job, a beautiful home, good friends. She thought the perfect existence. Then she met single sexy dad Hank Weisbecker, who, with a little help from his daughters, had her thinking her life was far from complete. Until Catherine, with her city-come-country girl ways that tied a man in knots, moved into the neighborhood. Hank had planned on remaining a bachelor father. Now being content with his incomplete family would just not do. He'd make Catherine his wife, give his kids a new mom, and he'd start by ravishing her with 1,000 kisses. I'm gonna pass on this one. Ugh, come on, old dead lady, give me something good. Janet Evanovich and Steve Hamilton, The Bounty. Mission Impossible meets National Treasure. FBI agent Kate O'Hare and charming criminal Nick Fox race against time to find a buried train filled with Nazi gold. No, thank you. Alright, Nora Roberts, The McGregor Grooms. 3 Passionate Proposals. Daniel McGregor is at it again! This time, the lovable McGregor patriarch is looking to connect 3 of his bachelor grandsons with the women of their dreams, whether they want his help or not. But just as he did with his granddaughters, Daniel has a few tricks up his sleeves to kickstart 3 lasting relationships. Artist DC never wanted to be tied down, but Daniel has Lyanna Drake in mind to inject DC's life with the passion he's been missing. Cruise ship owner Duncan is through betting on love, but Daniel knows Kat Farrell will show Duncan it's worth one more try. I'm not even going to finish this. I don't feel like reading this. Alright. James Patterson, another one. Ooh. Crossfire. I haven't read James Patterson except for the Maximum Ride series, so let's see. A new killer strikes at the nation's capital as Alex Cross faces his oldest and most dangerous nemesis. Detective Alex Cross and Bree Stone's wedding plans are put on hold when Alex is called to the assassination scene of a dirty congressman and corrupt lobbyist. Next, the elusive gunman picks off other crooked Washington, D.C. politicians, sparking a blaze of theory. Is he a hero or a vigilante? The case explodes, and the FBI assigns Agent Max Sagel to the investigation. As Alex battles Sagel over jurisdiction, the murders continue. It becomes clear that I don't feel like reading this. Alright, next. Montana Mavericks. Catherine Lentz, Baby Wanted. I'm thinking that this happy family is not going to be happy for long. He would be the father! The whole town was talking, so Travis Baines had to put a stop to his ex-wife's outrageous plan. Just because Lori wanted a baby didn't mean she could shamelessly seek out an eligible stud. Ugh. And if his pretty ex wouldn't listen to reason, then Travis would have to resort to passion. Because even though Lori didn't want Travis for a husband, no other man was going to father her child. ... I'm gonna take a pass on that one. Ooh, James Patterson again. Saving the World. I didn't finish Maximum Ride. This is a Maximum Ride book. Which one is this? Book 2! That's going on the maybe. I wonder if she's gonna have the whole series. Elizabeth Lowell, Amber Beach. Very beautiful cover. Jewelry designer Honor Donovan was never welcomed into her father's international gem trading empire like her 4 brothers were. But when her favorite brother Kyle disappears, rumored to have made off with a fortune in amber, Honor defies the men of the family and heads for the San Juan Islands of the Pacific Northwest in search of answers. Jake Mallory has been doing business with Donovan International and suspects he's been set up to take the fall for Kyle's dirty tricks. When he and Honor meet, a journey that begins with dark suspicion and plans of vengeance turn into a dangerous voyage of temptation and betrayal. Alone at sea, they fight against growing passions and lingering distrust, but as they flee from violent enemies in pursuit of the mysteries of the Amber Room, they discover that the deepest secrets lie within themselves. I'm gonna pass. Sisters of Belfast by Melanie Mowry. Orphaned during the Second World War, Ailish and Isabel McGuire, known as the Twins of Belfast, are given over to the austere care of the Sisters of Bethlehem. Though they are very close, the girls are propelled in opposite directions as they grow up. Rebellious Isabel turns her back on the church in Ireland, traveling to Newfoundland, where she pursues a perilous yet independent, passionate life. Devout Ailish chooses to remain in Northern Ireland and takes the veil, burying painful truths beneath years of silence. Lesbian? For decades, the two are out of touch, but when Ailish is unexpectedly summoned to Newfoundland, she and her estranged sister begin to bridge the chasms between them. Slowly, painfully, the McGuire twins begin reconstructing their understandings of themselves as women and as family, with what they know of love, hope, and above all, forgiveness. A story of faith in religion, in the world, and in each other. Sisters of Belfast is a heartbreaking, tragic, and deeply moving novel about survival and the enduring power of sisterhood. I'm gonna pass on this one. What is next? J.D. Robb, Desperation in Death. When a girl turns up dead months after going missing, dressed in expensive clothing, Eve Dallas suspects traffickers are involved, and the elegant, very expensive clothes on the victim's body suggest that whoever's behind the crime is very well funded. What she doesn't yet know is the massive scale of the operation, or the fact that there's another young terrifying. I don't want to read crime thrillers. Lisa Kleypas, Devil in Winter. Easily the shyest wallflower, Evangeline Jenner stands to become the wealthiest once her inheritance comes due. Because she must first escape the clutches of her unscrupulous relatives, Evie has approached the rake Viscount St. Vincent with the most outrageous proposition: marriage! Sebastian's reputation is so dangerous that 30 seconds alone with him will ruin any maiden's good name. Still, this bewitching chit appears unchaperoned on his doorstep to offer her hand. Certainly an aristocrat with a fine eye for beauty could do far worse. But Evie's proposal comes with a condition. No lovemaking after their wedding night. She will never become just another of the dashing libertines' callously discarded broken hearts. Which means Sebastian will simply have to work harder at his seductions. Or perhaps surrender his own heart for the very first time in the name of true love. No, thank you. Alright. Susan Mallory, Second Chance Girl. Matthias Mitchell's easy smile hides a world of hurt. After the worst kind of family betrayal, he moves to Happily Inc., California. The wedding destination town supplies a steady stream of bridesmaids, perfect for his no promises, no pain lifestyle. Carolyn knows. Gamekeeper Carol Lund knows she's not special enough to attract an alpha male like Matthias, so his offer to help her adopt a herd for her lonely giraffe is surprising, and his determined seduction even more so. But just as she finally welcomes him into her bed, his careless actions crush her heart. Will she give him a second chance to prove she's always come first in his heart? I'm gonna pass. Okay, I've been looking at this one this whole time, and I'm just gonna pick it up. Sandra Brown. Exclusive. Ooh, another queen serving. Good looks. A second stringer with first-class talent, Barry Travis is stuck at a low-budget independent television television station, struggling to survive among the giant networks. Then, suddenly, she received an invitation from First Lady Vanessa Merritt for an off-the-record conversation. Barry's reporter's instincts are instantly aroused. During a furtive, emotionally charged meeting, Barry sees that the president's beautiful wife is stunned by grief after the crib death of her infant son. Vanessa's motive for meeting Barry seems to be to share her heartache with another woman. Blind to everything but getting her the death of the president's child. No thank you. Skip! Another Nora Roberts. Secret getaway. Okay. Captive star. MJ O'Leary is used to punching first and asking questions later, so when bounty hunter Jack Dakota tries to arrest her for bail jumping, she doesn't go down easily. On the run from hired killers, MJ refuses to talk about who's after her, or why she had a massive blue diamond hidden in her purse. MJ and Jack are drawn to each other, despite their better judgment, but can Jack learn to trust MJ when she has so many secrets? Secret star. Lieutenant Seth Buchanan is astonished when the beautiful victim of his homicide investigation turns up, very much alive, at the scene of the murder. Grace Fontaine is keeping secrets, one that should have killed her, but the notorious heiress refuses to reveal anything. With the killer at large, Seth can't afford any distractions, but there's something irresistible about Grace. And eventually, Seth finds it hard to remember there's any mystery more important to solve than that of Grace herself. No, thank you. I'm going to pass on that. Next one. Tess Gerritsen. The Mephisto Club. Another beautiful woman. Slaying. It's Christmas Eve, and Boston medical examiner Mara Isles and Detective Jane Rizzoli are summoned to the scene of a shocking murder. The last person called from the dead woman's phone is Dr. Joyce O'Donnell, a controversial psychologist whose famed testimonies have sent many of her clients to the hospital instead of jail. I don't feel like reading this one. Alright. Ellen Hildebrand. Summer People. When Arch Newton, a prominent New York attorney, dies in a plane crash on his way home from a business trip, his beautiful widow Beth can barely keep things together. Still, she decides that she must continue the family tradition of going to Nantucket and fulfill a promise that Arch made before he died. So Beth invites Marcus, the son of Arch's final and most challenging client, to spend the summer with her and her teenage twins, Winnie and Garrett. Always a place of peace before Arch's death, and a time to settle emotions, determine passions, and market. No, thank you. What? Next one. If Walls Could Talk by Juliet Blackwell. A haunted home renovation mystery. Has a little dog on it. Since she took over her father's construction business, Melanie Turner has made quite a name for herself, remodeling historic houses in the San Francisco Bay Area, but now her reputation may be on the line. At her newest renovation project, a rundown Pacific... Ow! At her newest renovation project, Do not bite me. What? At her newest renovation project, a rundown Pacific Heights mansion, Mel is visited by the ghost of a colleague who recently met a bad end with power tools. Mel hopes that by tracking down the killer, she can rid herself of the ghostly presence of the murdered man. No thank you. Luann Rice. Last Kiss. For nearly a year after the tragedy that claimed her teenage son, Charlie, Sheridan Roslaire has lived a quiet life on Hubbard's Point, tucked away in the beach house where they spent their happiest days. But Charlie's girlfriend, Nell Kilvert, is determined to find out what really happened on the night none of them will ever forget. She summons the one man she believes can uncover the truth, Gavin Dawson, who long ago thought he would always be at Sheridan's side. Now, oh my god, I don't feel like reading this. Ugh. Another Danielle Steele. Serving face is still with a giant picture on the back. No summary, I bet. Power play. Ooh, this one does have a summary. Even though Harvard-educated Fiona Carson has proven herself under fire as CEO of National Technology Advancement, a multi-billion-dollar high-tech company based in Palo Alto, California, she still has to meet the challenges of her world every day. That was a crazy single sentence. Devoted single mother, world-class strategist, and tough negotiator, Fiona weighs every move she makes and reserves any personal time for her children. Isolation and constant pressure are givens for her as a woman in a man's world. Miles away, in Marin County, Marshall Weston basks in the fruit of his achievements. At his side is his wife, Liz, the perfect corporate spouse, who has gladly sacrificed her own law career to raise their 3 children and support Marshall at every step. No thank you. That's the kind of man that's the love interest. No thank you. Next, Danielle once again with Silent Honor. Don't like the use of Chinese characters here. Silent Honor. Is this going to be Orientalist? Let's see. A man ahead of his time, Japanese college professor Masao Takashiyama of Kyoto has a passion for modern ideas that was as strong as his wife's beliefs in ancient traditions. It was the early 1920s, and Masao had dreams of the future and fascination with the politics and opportunities of a world that was changing every day. 20 years later, his 18-year-old daughter, Hiroko, torn between her mother's traditions and her father's wishes, boarded the SS Nagoya Maru to come to California for an education and to make her father proud. It was August 1941. From the ship, she went directly to the Palo Alto home of her uncle, Takeo, and his family. To Hiroko, California was a different world. On December 7th, Pearl Harbor is bombed by the Japanese. Within hours, war is declared, and suddenly Hiroko has become an enemy in a foreign land. Terrified, begging to go home, she is nonetheless ordered by her father to stay. He is positive she will be safer in California than at home, and for a brief time she is, until her entire world caves in. On February 19th, Executive Order 9066 is signed by President Roosevelt, giving the military power to remove the Japanese from the communities at will. Takeo and his family are given 10 days to sell their home, give up their jobs, and report to a relocation center. This extraordinary novel tells what happens to them there, creating a portrait of human tragedy and strength, divided loyalties, and love. It tells of Americans who were treated as foreigners in their own land, and it tells Hiroko's story and that of her American family as they fight to stay alive amid the drama of life and death in the camp at Tula Lake, in the concentration camps. No, internment camps. That's what they were. I'm gonna give this one a pass. So, I suppose then that's Japanese kanji and not Chinese kanji. I don't know. 1996. I don't know if I trust a white woman in the 90s to do this delicately. I'm gonna I know. I'm gonna pass. We are getting to the last 3 books in this box, so let's see. Would you guess it? Another Danielle Steele. Hey girl! Until the End of Time. Let's see, what is this one about? Bill is a dedicated young lawyer working at his family's prestigious New York firm, who leaves everything he trained for to follow his dream and become a minister in rural Wyoming. Jenny, his wife, is a stylist whose heart and soul is... Fast forward... Stop biting me! What? Fast forward 38 years, Robert is a hardworking independent book publisher in Manhattan who's given up all personal life to build a struggling business. I don't feel like it. I don't even feel like reading it all the way. No, thank you. J.D. Robb. Random in Death. Jenna's parents had finally given in, and there she was at a New York club with her best friends, watching the legendary band Avenue A and carrying her demo in hopes of slipping in to the guitarist Jake Kincaid. Then, from the stage, Jake catches her eye and smiles. It's the best night of her life. It's the last night of her life. Minutes later, Jake's in the alley, getting some fresh air, and the girl from the dance floor comes stumbling out, sick, confused, and deathly pale. He tries to help, but it's no use. He doesn't know that someone in the crowd has jabbed her with a needle. And when his girlfriend Nadine arrives, she knows the only thing left to do for the girl is to call her friend, Lieutenant Eve Dallas. No, thank you. Next and last one. Julia Garwood. Mercy. Another slaying woman. Alright. Like his FBI agent brother Nick, Theo Butchman is devoted to his crime-fighting career. Another crime thriller. Only Theo works the other side of the desk as an esteemed Justice Department attorney. At a gala ceremony in New Orleans, he is suddenly struck ill and is rushed to a hospital, where a brilliant and beautiful surgeon, Dr. Michelle Renard, saves his life. It is not the only life-and-death crisis that will ensnare Theo, for he is about to uncover a ring of criminals bent on preserving their secrecy at any cost. They call themselves the Sewing Club. Sewing is in, sowing seeds, S-O-W. 4 white-collar professionals whose sophisticated crimes have amassed millions of dollars in the Cayman Islands bank account. The group is bound by a pact to leave the cash untouched until they accumulate a cool $40 billion. No, that says million. But their leader, John, has begun to lose his focus in their all-for-one commitment, distracted by and nearly bankrupt from his wife's grave illness. I don't even feel like reading to the back flat. That's gonna be a no for me. And with that, there's 1, 2, 3 I'm gonna say 5 stacks of books that I'm completely uninterested in, and just these 4 that I am even considering keeping. Now, I do want to actually read Garden Spells. This one intrigues me. I'm gonna say that's a yes. I'm gonna keep this one. To Protect an Heiress. That also really intrigued me, and I'm gonna say yes to this one too. I'm gonna keep it. Now, books 1 and 2 of Maximum Ride. I've already read Maximum Ride, most of it. And, they're not really books that I've thought about since reading them in middle school. I don't think I'm gonna keep them. I'm not gonna keep them. These book blurbs, though, that says, from The Guardian on book 1, this book series is worthy of being as famous as The Twilight Saga or The Hunger Games. And book 2's blurb says, like the Harry Potter series, a reading experience that will be shared by children, their parents, and grandparents. Very of their times from when they were published in, 2010. So, I'm not going to keep them. No. I don't think I'm actually going to reread them. And, with that, it's just these 2. Wow! Just these 2! And with that, Tulio is all dry now. He's very fluffy. I'm going to say bye. I'm going to say thank you for watching. And I'm going to say Tulio says bye. Bye-bye. And it's playtime for him. I know. Yeah. Bye-bye.